Hi everyone, it's Stacy. Thank you for coming on this yoga leap with me. Welcome to anyone new finding the videos for the first time, and welcome back to anyone who's practiced with me here through this lens before. So you can see I have my chair there behind me and the mat. I'm going to be kind of flowing between the chair and the mat. I will be offering options for both alternatives. If you are seated in the chair or on the mat and you're waiting for me to catch up, just go ahead and find a comfortable posture, find a few extra breaths in the posture you're in, and just wait for me to catch up to you. If anything doesn't feel good in your body, go ahead and take a modification, either one I've offered or one that you know. And we always want to make sure that we're feeling sensation in our body, but never pain. The other thing is, other than the chair, I don't really cue with any props. If you do like to practice with props like bolsters, blocks, straps, blankets, by all means grab them now, and I will meet you back over on the mat and we'll get started. Oh, I have my slippers on still. So we all are in our practice spaces, in our private homes, so sometimes we have slippers on. Maybe you're going to practice in your slippers today, and that's okay too. I'm going to start seated on the chair, and you could start seated on the chair or on the floor, whatever works best for you. And I think last week I did a full chair flow, and I was encouraging us to try new things that helps us keep our beginner mindset and keep us kind of fresh on our mat so that we're not flowing through our practice without being conscious and aware of what we're doing. So that we want to make sure that we're not just doing it sort of mindlessly, we want to be doing it mindfully. So sometimes trying something new is a way to do that because it's new and you have to kind of think about it a bit more. So that was last week's practice, but it is a theme for every week. So if you are always doing your flow on the mat, go ahead, join me in the chair or switch it up, move out of the chair, move onto the floor halfway through, whatever works. So to begin with, we'll find a nice comfortable seated position, again, either on the floor or in the chair, sitting up so that you're not slouched, but if you do have the back of a chair, you want to use that to help support your back, that's okay, but let's all roll the shoulders a couple times. If you're sitting on the floor, any cross-legged position that feels comfortable for you, go ahead and settle into that now. We can bring our hands to our lap, and our hands can be turned down or up. They can be resting in our lap, whatever feels comfortable. Depends on maybe what kind of energy you are looking to invite into your practice. Hands turned up, palms turned up will be an invitation to invite energy into your practice. Turning them down might be an invitation to settle things down a bit. So depending on where you are and where you'd like to be in your practice, choosing where you'd like to leave your hands and closing the eyes if it feels comfortable. If not, maybe just turning the gaze down towards the floor, finding a nice still spot to let the gaze rest. And let's just turn our attention inward to our breath. Notice where our breath is flowing freely. Notice where it's getting stuck. Just let the breath come naturally. Don't change anything about it just yet. Notice where you notice the breath. So is it in your belly? Do you notice it flowing in and out of your nose? I'm really noticing it in my nose today, partly because I'm a little bit stuffed up. I have a little bit of a head cold, so I'm really noticing the breath up in my sinus area, and that's okay. Taking a few breaths here, maybe even noticing how our bodies are feeling. Have we noticed, are we starting to slouch? Are we holding any tension in our neck or shoulders? Maybe just let that go as well. And to help with that, maybe deepen the breath. Let's inhale and extend the inhale for a count of 3 or 4 or 5. And then on the exhale, press it all out for that same count, 3 or 4 or 5. Whatever you breathed in for, exhale for the same count, finding that equal ratio breath. Inhale, let's fill our bellies, ribs, and chest. And exhale, chest, ribs, and belly. Inhaling to feel bellies, ribs, and chest, and exhaling chest, ribs, and belly, making sure to breathe at your own perfect pace. Taking a couple more rounds here, and maybe taking this opportunity to set an intention for your practice if that is part of your practice. An intention is just a simple motto or mantra or intention that you can repeat to yourself easily. It's quick, it will remind you and bring you back to the present so that you are here and fully in this experience. So it can be, I am present, I am here, I am strong, anything that resonates with you today. Take a couple more rounds of breath, filling our bellies, ribs, and chest, and then exhaling, press it all out, chest, ribs, and belly. Feel everything draw down. And then when we're ready, maybe turning the gaze down, fluttering the eyes open if they were closed. We'll bring a bit of movement to the breath now. Let's inhale, sweep our arms up overhead. And then let's do a few simple exhales here. Exhale, lower the arms down. Inhale to reach up. Still finding that full breath. That 3 or 4 counts in and 3 or 4 or 5 counts out. Let's add a little twist here. Let's inhale, sweep the arms up. On the exhale, just start to twist towards one side. So one arm will cross in front of the body, one will reach behind. If your hand can, or if your hand reaches the chair, that's okay. You can go ahead and grab onto the chair. We don't want to yank ourselves around though. Just help guide us into the twist. Stay for an inhale here. And then exhale here. On the next inhale, let's twist around to the front, sweep the arms up, and twist over to the other side. Opposite arm sweeps across the body, so we're crossing that center plane here. Other arm reaches behind. Maybe it's pressing into the mat if we're seated, helping us sit up nice and tall. Maybe we're holding onto our chair back. Inhale and exhale here one more time. Inhale through center, sweep the arms up, flow with the breath. So just moving the spine in a little bit of a different direction here, kind of like a barbershop pole. We'll do a couple more. So we're rooting down through the sit bones and twisting up through the spine. Let's go one more on this side. And breathing, of course. Inhale, reach up. Let's draw the hands through heart center here. And let's bring our left hand, if you're facing the opposite of me, it doesn't matter what hand. We'll bring our left hand down to the ground, plant it into the ground. If you're on the chair, maybe grabbing onto the chair for some support. And then we're going to sweep our right hand up as we inhale, and then lean over, find a side bend as we exhale. Now, whether we're seated on the ground or the chair, make sure this opposite hip is rooting down. Don't let it come up. Stay nice and firmly rooted through the opposite hip. We're feeling a nice big stretch and opening all down the right side body here. The gaze can be down at the shoulder, maybe straight ahead, or maybe up underneath the arm, wherever it feels comfortable for your neck. And if the arm is too long, if this big long lever is too much, bring the hand, bend at the elbow, just place the hand behind the head. It will still allow us to open up here and feel that side stretch. Okay, we've been here a long time. Let's stay for one more breath. And exhale. On the inhale, use your strength, come back up through center. This time we'll let the right hand or opposite hand find the ground or the chair. Our left hand will reach up on our inhale, and then exhale, we'll find a side bend. Stay nice and heavy through the left side hip here. Stay grounded onto the mat or the chair. And remember, we have options here for shortening levers and finding a comfortable place for our gaze. We want to make sure that we're staying nice and open and we're finding a side stretch here. Ooh. Stay for another couple breaths. Good. On the next inhale, come up through center, sweep both arms up. And exhale. Great. Let's bring both hands down to our thighs here. If you're seated cross-legged, they'll find your knees. We're just gonna, if we're on the chair, maybe step the feet a little wider, just so we have a bit more space to rotate. And we're gonna start to rotate through the hips, do some hip circles. The other option in the chair is maybe moving yourself forward to the edge of the chair just for a little bit more space so we can round the spine as we exhale. So we'll inhale to pull forward, keep circling through the hips, and then exhale round. We can all use our hands as sort of something to grab onto to help splay those shoulder blades and help pull us forward. So we're making the circles as big or as small as feels comfortable, and just finding nice movement in a bunch of directions for our spine. Good, we'll do a couple more in this direction. Now, if you're on the floor and you are seated with legs crossed and you feel like changing the cross of the legs, let's all come on up on an inhale, sit up nice and tall. Here's an opportunity to switch the cross of the legs. For the rest of us, we're gonna keep our feet where they are, and we're all gonna start spinning in the opposite direction now. So we're still pulling our heart center forward, rounding through the spine as we exhale back. Inhale forward and exhale. Good, so we'll do a couple more in this direction as well. And then when we're coming for our next inhale, let's just sit up nice and tall. Awesome, let's roll the shoulders a couple of times here. Forwards and backwards. All right, we're gonna start to come into some bigger movements. Now I'll catch up with you on the mat in just a moment. For those of us in the chair, we're gonna come into our sun and moon flowers. So we wanna make sure we have a nice big wide stance here. Make sure you're either seated at the edge of your chair or any way that feels comfortable enough so that you can fold forward without anything impeding the fold. And we're all going to take a big inhale, sweep the arms up. Let's exhale, we can hinge forward. If we want, we can use the hands to support us as we come forward, or we can sweep the arms all the way down, gather up our sunflowers here, and then come all the way back up. And then exhale again, either using the knees to support or sweeping down all the way, gathering up the sunflowers. And then inhale. So keep flowing with that in the chair. I'll join you on the mat. If you haven't already made your way into a wide leg stance and come into a bit of a squat, go ahead and do that now. Toes are turned out towards the corners of the mat. Tailbone's heavy, so tilt it down towards the floor. And then we'll inhale, we'll straighten through the legs as well if we're on the mat. Reach up and then bend back into the legs. Exhale, same thing. You can stop here, use your hands as support on the knees, or come all the way down, scoop up the sunflowers. So we're just getting big movements going. Big breaths, lots of options here. Inhale to reach up and press up. Exhale, bend into the knees. Hinge forward, gather up sunflowers. We'll do a couple more like this. And then we have an option to come into a moonflower, which would be not hinging forward, just drawing the elbows in, squeezing the shoulder blades, opening up through front side body, and then inhaling. So if you're seated in the chair, it's the same thing. You'll just draw, instead of hinging forward, draw the elbows in, but feel the strength of your backside body as you pull those elbows together. Strong energy through the fingertips as well. Those are our moonflower options. And of course, we could switch it up and do one of each. If you like one better than the other, stick with one. If you want to do one of each, go ahead and do that. Just make sure you're finding your breath, moving in ways that feel good for your body and that's creating a bit of heat. You can feel your muscles working. Like I said, it's a bit gray and rainy here where I am. So I'm trying to create heat, energy, sun, but at the same time, hoping for some snow. Okay, let's do a little final round here, whatever flow you've taken, and we'll all inhale to reach up and then just let the hands come down by our side. If our feet are nice and wide, go ahead and stay here. We're gonna come into a forward fold, but we may just wanna turn the toes in so that they're not facing out to the corners anymore, they're facing forward. If you're seated in the chair, you're probably already set up for a nice forward fold. Let's inhale, sweep the arms up. As we exhale, bring the hands behind us. Clasp the fingers if we can. Let's turn around here. Clasp the hands if we can. Draw the palms together if we can. And then reach the knuckles down and back. So we'll find we're really open through the front side body. If this is not possible, no problem. Just reach back, pretend you're holding onto a big beach ball in between the hands. So feel that energy of an imaginary ball, you're holding it there. And we'll stay lifted here if we'd like, or option to come into that forward fold. Knees can stay straight, or they can bend a little bit as we hinge forward all the way down to the ground. The knuckles will reach up, head can drop down, knuckles reach up. Stay open through the front side body. Maybe we're holding onto that volleyball. Maybe we don't like our hands overhead at all. We can bring them down to the floor. Or if you're in the chair, maybe onto your knees for support. Staying in our forward fold. If the knees are really bent in your forward fold, you could play around with straightening them a bit. See how it feels. Stay for another breath. Good. Let's come all the way back up. So if our hands are clasped behind us, lead with the knuckles, pulling ourselves all the way back up to standing. Good. Let's release the hands, step the feet in, shake it out a little bit. Good. Just swing the arms. This is our empty coat sleeves. It's like you have a coat on, but you've pulled the arms inside, and so the sleeves of the coat are just flailing. It's very freeing and childlike. It's a great one to do. All right, good. So we've warmed up a little bit with those big movements. So let's come into a few warrior poses. I know we did we do warriors last week? I don't remember, but we're gonna do them again this week because they're full body. They'll generate lots of heat. So to begin with, we'll come into warrior one. I'll set those of us up on the mat here and it'll be easy transition. So for warrior one, you'll be standing at the top of your mat. Step 1 foot back, and the heel and the toes will both be on the mat. You can see that there. Move back a bit. And the toes will just point out on a bit of an angle. Front knee bends, and the hips face towards that front knee. This is our warrior one. Think about drawing this hip bone and tilting it under so that it draws up towards the rib cage. Find a nice long line of energy from the fingers all the way into the feet. And as always, if the warrior one arms are too much, we can come into cactus arms or hands at heart center. If you are on the floor, staying here in your warrior one, if you're on the chair, we'll just turn sideways in our chair so that the right leg is supported by the chair, left leg steps back, hips are facing the right leg, and we have the same options for our arms on the chair as well. So let's stay in our warrior one. I'm just going to move out of the chair, staying where you are for warrior one for a few more breaths. Awesome. Let's reach up. Inhale here. Let's exhale the hands behind us. Same thing, either reaching for that volleyball or beach ball or clasping the fingers, reaching the knuckles down. We're in our warrior one, knuckles reaching down, firmly planting through the feet. We can stay lifted if we like, or we can take a big inhale here and then fold forward, finding our extended warrior. This is not extended warrior. This is our humble warrior. I'm sorry, my apologies. And we're bowing down. Energy through the feet, energy through the fingers. On the next inhale, let's come on up. Good. Option to stay and inhale, or option to fold forward again. We're going to do it one more time. So either staying with the breath or moving with the breath. Creating a bit more heat. Inhale and fold. All right, let's reach all the way back up. Release the hands Inhale. And then let's exhale and we'll open up to warrior two. So now, whether we're in the chair or the mat, we're gonna turn the hips, open them up towards me now. They're not facing this way anymore. We wanna face them this way. Then the feet have changed slightly. The toes now are gonna face forward rather than facing in. Open them up, make them parallel to the back edge of the mat. And our arms will come nice and wide, shoulder height. Energy through the fingers, gaze off the front fingers, still bending into that front leg. And then let's just all check in with ourselves. If we find we're sort of leaning too far forward or we're reaching too far back, let's try and center ourselves. We'll try and stack our shoulders over our hips here. Good. One more breath. And then we could either stay here or move with our breath. As the inhale, we'll press up, straighten up through the front leg, and then exhale. Or stay in your warrior two, especially if you're in the chair. You might not be able to flow, but you could reach the hands up and down if you want to create a little more energy. One more. Let's stay for a pause here. Good. Let's flip the palms up and then windmill them back. Find a reverse warrior. Stay for a breath. We're still working that front bent leg. I know it's firing, isn't it? Let's find some breath. Either stay here if you really enjoy this big stretch or move through warrior two and reverse. We've got two more. Or you can stay where you are if you're happy there. Keep breathing. Last one. Let's come back through warrior two here. Good, let's lower the arms, straighten the leg, let's turn the toes in. Let's find one more forward fold, either arms behind or hands on our hips. Take a big inhale wherever we are, forward fold. So our feet are stepped nice and wide if we're seated in the chair. Fold forward, hang heavy. Shake out the head, shake out the shoulders. And then we'll come on back up. So if we're on the floor and we went all the way down, find some energy in the belly, release the hands to the hips and hinge all the way back up. All right, now we can let it go. Let's heel toe the feet in. We'll shake it out. Find those empty coat sleeves. Shake it all out. Hopefully we're feeling some heat. And now we're going to do on the other side. So again, in the chair, we've come from our wide leg forward fold. We're going to turn this way. And now our left leg will be supported by the chair. Right leg steps out behind us, planting the feet on the floor with the toes sort of on a bit of an angle and the hips facing that front leg. And we'll find our warrior one arms. I'll do this sequence in the chair with you. If you're on the floor, of course, warrior one looks the same. You're just not being supported by a chair. So it's not too much different. Remember, options for hands are cactus or at heart center. All right, tilt that pelvis so that we're creating a nice long line of energy from the hips to the fingertips. Stay for another breath. Inhale and exhale. Inhale to reach up, exhale, sweep the hands behind. And remember, we could stay in whatever warrior one option we like, or we could fold forward into our humble warrior. So take an inhale here, and if we're finding humble warrior, exhale, fold forward. Awesome, hands can reach up. And then as we inhale, we pull ourselves back up through the knuckles, and then exhale, humble warrior. Feet are planted. Still a lot of work happening even when we're in the chair here. There's a little bit of support, but we still have lots of strength in the core, lots of energy through the knuckles. Inhale and exhale one more time. And lots of energy through the feet so that we don't fall off our chair. That happened to me last week. I had to cut it out of the video. Inhale. All right, good. Let's inhale, sweep the arms up. Exhale, open up, we'll find our warrior two. So here's where we make the adjustments. In the chair, we're going to turn the hips so they face forward. All of us will turn our toes so that instead of them pointing in on a 45, they're now pointing straight ahead. They're lined up to the back edge of the mat. We still have a nice bend in our front leg, and we're stacking our hips under our shoulders with nice, strong warrior two arms Reach through the fingertips, gaze off the front fingers. So our warrior two, make sure we're not leaning forward. Pull the torso back, stack it over the hips. And imagine energy pressing down through the fingers and the toes. Awesome. And then we could stay here, or we could move and find that breath where we inhale, sweep the arms up. And if you're standing, you could straighten that front leg as well. And then exhale, press the air back down. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, press. One more. Inhale. And exhale. Good. Now staying here. We're going to flip the palms and then windmill the hands back. Reach down the back leg. Reach the top arm up and over. Open up as much as we can through the side body here. Take a nice big reverse warrior. And remember, option to stay here or your warrior two, or option to flow. Let's inhale, warrior two. Exhale. We have two more. Inhale. Exhale. Last one. Exhale. Good. Let's come back through warrior two. Lower the arms. Let's find another forward fold. So we'll readjust on the chair if we need to. We're coming into a nice wide leg forward fold here. Any hand variation, whether you want to bring the hands behind, rest them on your knees, or reach them down towards the floor. Take a big inhale here, and then exhale, forward fold again.
All right, shake it out. Especially if your hands are reaching down towards the earth, let it go. Shake your head yes and no. And then here's where we're going to climb back up, engage through the belly, and come all the way back up to seated. Awesome. Let's step it in. Empty coat sleeves, shake it out, whatever you need to do here. Okay, let's make our way down to the floor and do a few stretches on the floor. So from the, I'll meet you on the floor in a minute. We're going to do a forward fold with straight legs. In the chair, we don't want to have both legs out. So the option for the chair is to root down through one leg and extend one leg and fold forward one leg at a time. So we'll do 2 rounds of straight leg forward fold so that you have an option to do both legs. In the meantime, I'm going to join you on the floor here. Oh. And we'll bring our legs straight out in front of us. Flex the toes back towards your face. Take a big inhale and then exhale, forward fold. Try and reach the heart space in the forehead beyond the toes. Find a nice stretch. If you're in the chair, stretching through the back of one leg at a time. All right, let's walk ourselves back up. We'll do that one more time just so that the people in the chair have an option to switch their legs. Reach up, opposite leg goes forward. For those of us on the floor, same forward fold. Reach beyond the toes, round through the spine if it feels good. Stay for a couple breaths. All right, so come on up. And I'm going to demonstrate this on the floor, and then I'm going to head back to the chair to show the chair option. We're going to do a little side opening twist. So for those of us on the floor to begin with, let's see if we can sit up nice and tall, walk ourselves forward. We're going to take our left hand, cross it across our body, reach for our right foot. It doesn't have to come off the floor. I just realized you can't see my feet in the video there for some reason. So it can stay on the floor, reach for it, or reach for the side of your leg. And then we're going to pretend we're opening up with a big sort of bow and arrow and open up this way like this. And then we'll switch sides. So in the chair, I'm going to come and show you an option for the chair. All right. If we are in our chair here, there we go. So the option could just be to sit up nice and tall. And same thing, we can reach across for our opposite knee and open up. Or if we want to add a little bit more intensity, we can add a bit of a forward fold. So we can maybe step the feet a little bit wider. And instead of actually reaching for the opposite leg, let's fold down, reach for same hand, same foot, and then open up. So that just might increase the sort of the twist and the opening to try to get that same sensation that those on the floor are getting. So once you settle into your twist here, stay nice and open. You have the option to stay, or you have the option to find 3 moving breaths. Here we go. Take an inhale here. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale to twist and come back down. Inhale. Exhale. Let's open up one more time. Inhale. Reach, 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 reach. Twist, 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 twist. And exhale. Good. Let's come on up, climb up, untwist nice and safe. Reposition on the floor now with the legs together. You could reach across and reach for your left foot or ankle and find your twist in the chair here. Same thing, you could close the legs up and find the twist this way. Or if you're looking for something a little deeper in the chair, open the legs up, reach down as we reach for same foot, same hand, and then we'll find our bow and arrow breath here. So let's start with a big opening. Take a big inhale, and then exhale, twist, reach towards the opposite foot, and then inhale to open. Exhale. Excuse me. Whew. Inhale, open. Exhale. One more here. Take a big inhale. Open, 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 open. Take a breath. Good. Let's close it up. Use any props like your legs to untwist. Come on up to standing. If we're on the ground, making your way back to a comfortable seated position or lying down for your final resting posture. As you make your way down, if there's anything your bodies need, any kind of final twists or breaths, go ahead and find that now. If you're in the chair, same thing. You might want to roll the shoulders. Some of us might even want to do a little stretch for our hips and come into a little figure 4. You can do that on the ground as well. Or maybe you just want to move into your final resting position. Sitting up nice and tall, softening the belly. Let's roll the shoulders. We can bring our hands down by our sides or onto our lap, depending on how we're positioned for our final rest. Making sure that we take a moment to just scan our bodies. Notice if we're still holding on to any tension anywhere, and if we can, maybe just breathe a little loving kindness that way and let it go. Maybe checking in with our intention of being present and grounded and here. Shavasana is the time for our physical and energetic bodies to absorb all that good work we just did, all that energy and heat and sunshine, and turn it into something magical. It's a time for integration and rest. And know that rest is different from sleep, and that we need both every day. And we should never pass up an opportunity to just rest and do nothing. Now, the beauty of practicing through this lens, of course, is you can stay in your Shavasana for as long as you want or need. You can let the video play out, or you can hit pause and finish now. If you're ready to bring some movement into your body and start waking up the body, wiggle through fingers and toes, maybe circling wrists and ankles. And maybe you want to stretch along your mat or in your chair, or maybe you want to curl into a little ball just before you either make your way up to seated from lying down or make your way back into a comfortable seated position in your chair. We can all bring our hands, rest them on our lap, bring them to heart center or into prayer hands at heart center if we're comfortable with that. And we're all going to take a big breath together. Take a big inhale here. Let it go. I want to thank you so much for allowing me into your personal private yoga practice spaces and for allowing me to guide you through this heated, sunshiny feeling flow. I hope it brings the exact right kind of energy to the rest of your day. And I hope to see you here again next week. Until then, take care. Thank you, everybody. I hope that we all managed to create a bit of heat and get our energy to the levels we want, whether that was to bring the energy up or down. I hope that this flow did that for you. We'll see you again next week. Bye.